I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'm very excited to be here just because I started getting involved in politics in 2012. And I was registering voters, and at the time I wasn't eligible to vote. And eventually I did become eligible to vote, but I knew that it was important to make sure that I mobilized mi gente to get out the vote and lots of folks to get out the vote, because I know that it is so important to have folks that truly represent who we are, not only in where we come from, but also our values. So today I have the amazing privilege of facilitating a conversation with Latinas that are running for assembly districts. And I'm so excited to welcome all these folks because I've seen these names, I've seen these folks on the ground, and I'm very excited to make sure that you also get to know them at home. So we are going to get started with Assemblywoman Sandra Jauregui. She represents State Assembly 41, and she's running for re-election. So we're just going to have a conversation with her. So Sandra, welcome to the space. I want you to take a moment and let us know, back when you first started running for office, what inspired you to run for office and what inspires you to keep going?
Thank you so much, and buenos dias, everyone. I'm Sandra Jauregui. I represent Assembly District 41, and I'd love to talk about what first inspired me to run. I always knew my heart was in public service. I would volunteer at a very young age with anywhere I could find an organization that would take me growing up. I worked with our school board, our school district in California. And then as I grew older, I started getting involved with neighboring cities because I grew up in a town. And so we didn't have our own city hall, we didn't have our own representation. And so I just started doing a lot of work with neighboring cities, whether it was with their water district or their Hispanic organizations. And I kind of carried that with me through my junior college and then into my college years when I moved to Nevada. And I never really realized just some of the barriers that other people face, because I'm the daughter of two immigrants from Mexico, and I had the opportunity to go to school, a public education the entire way through, and get a great education and really pursue my dreams, right? And so I wanted to make sure that every child had that same opportunity, no matter where they came from. Again, the daughter of two immigrants from Mexico who got a great education going through our public school system and was able to fulfill her dreams of running for office. And as the more I got involved, the more I realized that this is what I wanted to do, make sure that people knew that there was resources out there for them, make sure that people saw people who looked like them in leadership positions and encourage them to run as well. And then I ran in 2016, I was elected. And after I served my first session, I realized how much work there was to do. That a simple bill like strengthening the Nevada Equal Rights Commission that would not only require employers to keep documentation for a longer period of time, but lengthen the statute of limitations, where somebody who felt like they were discriminated against could bring their case forward and then give them more investigators to be able to do these investigations in a timely manner. It was one of the biggest battles, and the business community came and fought against that bill and it died. And I'm thinking, like, we need people here to represent our brothers and sisters, like people here to advocate for them. There was another bill I carried that died, where I was approached by when I was knocking doors, my first election, by a home care worker, a woman of color, who said, my employer works me at two of his companies, 6 hours at one and 6 hours at the other, so that he doesn't pay me overtime in one day. And I was like, who is going to be here to fight for these people? And so I knew that there was so much more work to be done. And so I ran for re-election in 2018, and I'm running again in 2020 because the fight's not over.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a lot about education, and I think